Right, grade 4s. Now the last little section for today, we're looking at N.S.T. We're looking at different habitats and the animals that live in those habitats. First of all, what is a habitat? Well, a habitat is a place where plants and animals live. The habitat must provide them with food and shelter. Now that's very important. So basically an animal lives where it can get some shelter. Remember, that's one of our needs, and where it can get some food. Okay, quite an important thing. And in every habitat, there are certain plants and certain animals that live there. And they live there for a reason. You and I can't live underwater because we don't have the lungs, don't breathe underwater. So we have to live above the water. But fish can't live above the water. They need to live underwater. So for every habitat, there are animals and plants that live there specifically because of the way that they are built. Let's first look at some habitats that we can think of examples of. Some examples are the sea, grassland, forest, and the river. These are 4 examples of different habitats, and let's look at each one and the types of animals that live there. First of all, let's look at the grassland. Now, we need to know what a grassland is, and it's large open areas covered mostly with grasses and some trees. It's very hot and it gets rain in summer, and in winter it's very cold and often gets frost but no rain. So grassland, we're thinking of open grass areas, hot in summer, cold in winter, summer rainfall, sometimes some trees. And you can see pictures there of the animals that might live there: elephants and zebra and meerkat and lions and cheetahs and leopards. Those kinds of things like to roam the grassland. And those animals are suited for the grassland. Their color helps them camouflage. The food that they need is found in grasslands. So all of them are suited to live in that particular area. Right, the next one we're looking at is forest. And forest is a cool and shady place. It often gets rain in both summer and winter, and you can see it's very green. There's lots of growth, lots of trees, lots of green leaves. Some of the animals we would find in a forest are monkeys and deer and squirrels and the N.S.T. The picture on the top right is a type of a bird called a luri, and it's found in the N.S.T. forest. Now, we find squirrels in the park and even sometimes in our gardens. That doesn't mean our garden is a forest, but we also find squirrels in the forest. And these animals that live in the forest are adapted for the forest. They're suited for the forest. One, their food might be there, but also some of them can climb up into the tree and make their homes in the tree and get away from predators that way. So they're suited to living in the forest. They need the trees, they need the cool, shady area, they need lots of rain. Right, our next habitat that we're looking at is the sea, nice and blue. And the sea covers 3/4 of the Earth's surface. This habitat and its shore is also included. So the beachfront itself is also included here. It provides a saltwater habitat for plants and animals. So these plants and these animals that live in the sea or near the sea need salt water, not fresh water. That's the big difference between the sea and the river, which we'll look at now. Some of the animals that would live in the sea, turtles and sharks and whales and even jellyfish. Okay, and remember, they need to live underwater. So they need certain gills. They can't have lungs. They need gills that will help them to breathe underwater. Okay, they can't live above land for long periods of time. Now we're looking at the river. That's our last habitat. And the river is very similar to the sea because it's also water, but this is a moving body of water. Okay, so river normally flows. It's rain that comes down from the hills. Sometimes it's ice and snow that is melted from mountains. And the main difference between this and the sea is that the river is usually fresh water. Water that you and I could drink. I wouldn't want to take a mouthful of sea water. It's very, very salty. But river water, if it was nice and clean, you could drink quite happily. Okay, and some of the animals that live here are ducks and hippos and crocodiles and certain frogs and even otters live in fresh water. Now, a lot of these animals are animals that can live on land and in the water. Okay, they like fresh water, but you also get certain fish that live in the river. But these fish can't handle the sea water. They can't handle the salty water. So your teacher might ask you these questions. She might say to you, match the animal with the habitat. She might say to you, explain to me what a grassland is. She might say to you, name 2 animals that are found in the sea. She might even say to you, why is a dolphin found in the sea and not on the grassland? And you might have to explain it that way. Okay, as long as you can match up animals to their habitats, you know which animals belong where And it might be different animals. It doesn't have to be the ones I've mentioned. Think of what the animal is like, what its needs are, and think, well, which one would it go better with? Does it need open grassland, like the grassland, large open areas? Does it need lots of trees and lots of rain and lots of leaves, like the forest? Does it need salt water, or the beach, like the sea? Or does it need fresh water, like a river? Okay, and then you can figure out which animal goes where. Good luck.